What's his mic?
Good morning.
What's his mic?
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Parker. My name is David Howard, and I'm the minister here at this beautiful, loving community. So do you feel like your body is filled with infinite light, and love, and joy, and all the good that we can possibly begin to embody right here and right now? And so as you are feeling that love, as you are radiating that love, I invite you to stand up, greet each other with a hug, a handshake, a bow, whatever feels good to you. Good morning. Please take your seats. But keep the love and the gratitude and the energy going this morning. So as Janice said, we are blessed to have Janice Kelly with us again this morning. Our wonderful new music minister, Laura Berman, was scheduled to be here today, and she texted me on Friday and said she has tested positive for COVID. So I texted Janice very quickly and said, by any chance, are you available? And she texted right back. She said, absolutely. For being here with us today.
Right place at the right time.
Right place at the right time is exactly right. So thank you. I want to remind you, if you're not yet familiar with our practitioners, we have several practitioners, and they are here today, and they're wearing their white stoles. And so you see them around as you're coming in and as you are greeting each other, and they are here to hold prayer with you, to pray with you, to do spiritual mind treatment with you. So if there's something on your heart, something in your life that you really want to have someone hold the truth, your truth for you until you can reclaim it for yourself, that is what our practitioners are here to do. And so ask them for that, and they are so willing and ready to pray with you. And they would love the opportunity to do that. And so please take advantage of that. Dr. Vern is not here today. I guess his birthday was too much for him. Dr. Vern, just kidding. He's actually speaking at the University of Lipton this morning, blessing them with his wisdom today and his love, and so I'm sure he's going to be a blessing to them today. But his class, the Bridal Chamber, begins on May 24th in person, and on Zoom on May 25th. If you want more information about that and want to register for his class, please go to our website, cslparker.org. That's correct, isn't it? Yes. cslparker.org, and you can register for the class there and also find out, keep in touch with what else is going on at CSL Parker on our website. And so, as we gather today, I just want to take a moment with you before we have our reading and invite you to join me in a visualization of this space filled with energy, with people, with life. We are filled with life already, but filled to the brim with people and energy, money, resources, all that we need, all that we're drawing for, all that we know is the truth of God living itself in us every moment. The I am that I am. And so join me right now, if you would. Close your eyes, breathe into your heart, envision with me right now this space drawing into itself all those who are seeking a place to remember who they are, to remember what they are, to remember that they are the abundance, the prosperity, the wholeness, the vitality of the divine. And know that we are here to reflect that to each person who walks through these doors. So feel your love reaching out into this community and beyond. And feel that energy drawing into itself love, light, energy of all those people, knowing that this is a place that they can come and know and be and explore and just be exactly who they are, where they are. And we hold them in the light. And we, again, breathe into that place of gratitude. Feel gratitude arising in the center of your being, gratitude that also draws into itself that which is like unto itself. And we claim it. We feel it. We know that it is done as we see it. And say with me together, and so it is. Believe. No, I think you speak. We are very flowy here.
Whatever you need.
Oh, there's no mic up there.
Just yell it out, girls.
Well, I have a strong voice. Can you hear me in the back?
Go for it.
Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, here it is. All right, after all that going on. This reading is from the main issue, The Light Within the Shadows, Science of Mind. And
I know. I gotta have my voice back, but this has gotta be back here because my voice is too loud for it. Okay.
Rip.
All right. Okay, so here it is. It's on page 30. It's just a little bit. But I love this section and I love this month's theme about talking about the shadows because it's really a cool thing that I've learned here in Science of Mind and its practices. So this month in our daily inspirational messages and global theme, we explore how to appreciate and welcome both the light and the dark for what each brings and offers to us. The shadows of darkness represent the deepest parts of ourselves, those emotions that can yield pain, grief, and sorrow. Many of us learned as children to hide or push away these parts of ourselves in fear of the hurt and the agony that this might cause. In truth, leaning into the shadow parts of ourselves helps us work through and reveal healing, light, and true joy. Some of my best lessons these past few years, now this is what the author's saying, but I could say it just as well. Some of the best lessons these past few years during this unique time in our history came through this pathway of self-discovery via my emotions and those dark spaces I learned to love and appreciate. Our emotions have so much to offer to help shift our perspective and bring appreciation in a new way. As we unlearn the lifelong lesson that dark is bad and light is good, we open our minds to the truth that both light and dark hold intrinsic value. And so it is.
We're going to do a meditation chant that doesn't need any lyrics, but I'd like you to repeat after me. Change my life, to thy life. And all the rest of it is just change my life to love.
Change my life to love.
Yeah.
Change my life to thy life. Change my life to thy life. Change my life to thy life.
So as we continue to breathe into that, just allowing yourself to be fully present in this moment. Bring your full awareness into here and now as you feel the chair that is supporting your body. Allow yourself to feel your feet against the floor and feel yourself grounded right here and right now. And with every breath, continue to breathe your awareness into your heart, into your body, into the awareness of your mind. And Chan reminded me of a Gaelic prayer that I really love. It says, O Christ, thou Son of God, my own eternal self, be thou made flesh in me, have thou thy life through me. I have no will but thine, I have no life but thee. O Christ, thou Son of God, my own eternal self. The light, the expression, the pure vibration of the creative life force energy that we often call God expressed itself so beautifully, fully, completely, wholly as you and as me. And as you breathe into the remembrance of that, know that that is truly that which I am, you are, the I am. That is made flesh in this moment. You are the embodiment of that light, that love, that energy, the pure light that we sometimes refer to as the Christ. Be born in my awareness this day, this moment. As you allow every cell of your physical body to irradiate, to resonate with that vibration of truth. Lord, it is in that remembrance, the remembrance of who and what you truly are, that you are restored in mind, in body, to the wholeness of God that you truly are. Allowing your mind to be filled with that vibration, releasing any thoughts of doubt or limitation or lack, and knowing that none of that is the truth of who you are. You allow yourself in this moment to claim the truth, to feel that vibration in your heart, in your mind, radiating through your body, down into the earth, up into the sky as you open at the top. So you feel that energy, allowing yourself to feel the light, the love, the vibration of the Christ that you are, the I am that you are. And as you open, give yourself permission to experience that light, bringing that light into anything that might appear to be darkness, illuminating. And as we spend just a moment in the silence, I invite you just to be with that. Notice what arises within you without resistance, without trying to push it down, push it away, escape it in any way. Just be with whatever arises, allowing it to be just as it is, welcoming it all, right here and right now. And as you breathe in, once again, just breathing into that space of knowing, centering yourself in the light as the light expressing right here and right now. Know that there is light in the darkness. There is light that illumines the darkness and reveals to us, as we are willing, as we are ready, to open ourselves, what might be there in shadows, with great gratitude for it all. So take a breath, feel yourself supported by the chair, by the floor, by Mother Earth, by each person who is in this space today. It's by the energy that we co-create here together in this sacred space. And with the next breath, bring your awareness back into the space, back into your body. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes, coming back into the awareness here and now.
I recognize the beauty of this moment, for I see its value to my life. I understand my story is exactly as I planned. Every detail, every nuance, every strand, I realize that blaming you is futile. For my wounds will only start to heal once I speak the truth of where they came from, and I change the thoughts that keep them real. I go within, and suddenly I'm lifted. I go within, and suddenly I'm loved. I reach across the universe to touch the
Thank you, Janice. Is that the one you just finished? She shared with me that when I told her the topic for today, she finished a song that she hadn't finished in a while. This was the first time she performed it. One mind. So it's beautiful. Thank you, Janice, for sharing that with us. So, our theme, obviously, for the year is living out loud.
Out loud!
All right, living out loud. And what does that really mean? If you haven't been here, or living out, it can mean many different things, right? It can mean, really just, I believe it is about living our truth, living that true nature, the light and the love and the joy, and all of that God, universe, source is through us. And how do we live that? How do we integrate our lives in the awareness that we know who we are? And how can we live that out loud? Because as I shared last week, I do believe that is our using the word salvation, or the salvation of ourselves from our beliefs in limitation and lack, but also the salvation of the world. Because when we come together and we know who we are and we join together in that, I believe we share that with the world, and the world is uplifted. And I think that is, in many ways, what we're here for. And so, what I believe is really what I talked about, what came through the meditation, really is that each of us is an expression of God, an individuated expression of the all, the one, right? The true light. And I hold the belief that we all come into this experience knowing that. In some way, we come into this human experience knowing who we are, knowing why we're here. And if you've ever been around a baby, you know they live out loud. Right? What's inside comes outside in more ways than one. Very often, in unexpected ways sometimes, right? So they are very much about expressing when they are unhappy, when they need to be changed, when they're hungry, when whatever is going on with them, they are expressing that. And I believe, and I see that with kids, with children who are babies, and then they're like 2 years old, and they're curious, and they want to know everything, and they ask questions. Have you ever been around a kid who says, well, why? But why? But why? Why? Right? It goes on and on and on. We're curious. We want to know about life. And that's the way children, I believe, come into this life experience. I believe we all do. But then somewhere along the way, we begin to unlearn that. We begin to learn how we are supposed to be in the world, how the world wants us to be, how we can survive in the world. And I think, unfortunately, for some children, that happens very early. Unfortunately, there are some situations when children have to find that place of separation to protect themselves, to be safe. And that's sad, unfortunately. Happens for some kids very early. For some of us, it happens a little bit later. Sometimes it happens when we start school, and we have to fit in this mold of being in school, right? So we learn to do that, and I was reminded of a story that I first heard from Jack Canfield, spiritual teacher, author Jack Canfield, who told the story of a young child, probably 5 or 6 years old, who for a while, until that point, had been an only child. And his parents were about to bring home a new baby. And so they were a little bit concerned about how this child would respond after being an only child for so long. Might be jealous. But one day they had put the baby down for a nap, and the little child came to them and said, "I want to go in and talk to my little sister." And they said, "Okay, we'll take you in there." When she wakes up, and he said, "No, I want to go in there now." And they said, "Well, she's asleep." And he said, "Well, I know, I'll be quiet." "Okay, we'll take you in there." "No, I'm going to go by myself." Right? Well, we don't know about that. Well, fortunately, they had baby monitors in there, so they could listen, and they said, "Okay, we'll let you go in there. Talk to your baby sister." So he goes in there, and he stands right by the crib, and he says to the little baby, "Tell me about God, because I'm starting to forget. Tell me about God, because I'm starting to forget." So we began to somehow forget. We began to create what we call the shadow, putting things behind. I've got some visual aids I thought somebody shared with me. I thought it was kind of interesting that we begin to build this wall between our backstage self and our onstage self. We learn that it's okay to be a certain way in our onstage self that might not be quite in alignment with our backstage self. We learn to pretend because we want to fit in. We want to be accepted. We want to belong. Right? I know it's different for many different people, whatever that might be. I know in my own life it was being a little boy who didn't like little boy stuff. I didn't like playing with trucks. I didn't like playing football. I didn't like doing those things. And so I had to hide some of that stuff that was going on in me so that I could be who other people wanted me to be. I think I shared that with you once before, that my father wanted me to play baseball. God, I hated baseball. But I played Little League for just about half a season. And I said, I just can't do that. But we learn to create this self, and what's sad about that is that this onstage self, we separate our truth, our light. We begin to hide that because we want to be accepted. And it gets to be very painful. It's incongruent. It's not living in integrity, in wholeness. And eventually, I think what can happen for us is that we begin to lose touch with that light. I'll be very open with you, vulnerable with you, I guess. I'm really, at my age, 62, really just now beginning to get back in touch with that little light. I'm working with a spiritual counselor to do that. I don't think I had realized how far I had gotten away from my true self. And I can tell you that it is painful to lose touch with that. But also, the consequences of that, too, sometimes, is that the world is deprived of your light. Your light, your true light, if we have that idea that I have to be separate, I have to have this shadow self, I have to be living behind the stage in a way that I can then be present on stage and people like me and appreciate me and approve of me, then we're not really letting our light shine. But also, we're not necessarily letting the world's light in. It separates us from people that we want to have a relationship, because we might be still afraid to be real with them, to share what's really going on in there. Well, I can't share that, because if I share that, they're going to judge me. They're going to think I'm an awful person. Nobody else has ever had thoughts like that. Right? Nobody else wants that kind of thing, whatever that is. And so, as we begin to mature and grow into our adolescence and our teens and our early adulthood, again, speaking from experience, the pain can become pretty intense. And we can try to escape the pain. That's why I hesitate to say this, but I have this idea that alcoholics, drug addicts are probably some of the most spiritual people in the world. AA, all of those programs are spiritual recovery programs. They're about recovering your spirit, your divine nature. Because people use alcohol, drugs, some people use sex, some people use shopping, some people use all sorts of what I like to think of as escape mechanisms. Because the pain of that separation can get to be so great. And again, what can happen in that, when we want to keep our darkness, our shadow so hidden, and we get involved in these escape mechanisms, guess who else suffers? We suffer, but everybody in our life is affected. So it's not just about us. When we don't acknowledge that darkness, that shadow self, and try to hide it, it gets lived out in some way in our lives and in the lives of our families and our loved ones. That's why I am so much a supporter of AA, MA, and all sorts of A's. Those programs, I think, have saved many lives, saved many relationships, too, I think. So it is that sort of pretending that we're all about the light, that we're pretending that we are in that place of not acknowledging our shadow, but what happens is the shadow will reveal itself in ways that we're not aware of. And then we get to a point, some point in our life, I know all of you have reached that place in your life where you have decided, no, I'm tired of that, I'm not living that way anymore, I want to be more congruent, I want to live a more integrous, is that the right word? Life. And so we begin to bring those things together. I have one in here already. So we begin to bring them together. And we begin to live, at least begin to explore a more whole life. I think, again, that's for people who get into recovery programs, people who get into New Thought, people who get into a conscious spiritual path. I know all of you who have, certainly those of you who have been through the practitioner training, have done a lot of introspection. And I know many of others, many of the rest of you have as well. A lot of just that, what is in there? What is going on inside my subconscious, in my shadow self, right? So I want to live this more whole life. But the shadow part of that can be that this becomes this. And we live in this other world of our own creation, where we're only around people that are like us, people who agree with us, people who believe the same way we believe. Now, I'm not saying any of you ever do that. I'm not saying that at all, but we can see how that can happen, can't we? Well, I hesitate to do this, but I'm going to. People who are very stringent in their religious beliefs, then can then create their own little shadow world. And that shadow world has within itself its own consequences. I mean, I'm not indicting, but we can see that playing out in the Catholic Church. We can see it in more traditional, more fundamental religions as well, where people create that, and then we begin to judge everybody who's outside of that. Right? So we can create for ourselves those, what I want to say, a spiritualized shadow. Right? Without truly exploring what's in there. It just becomes a different way of playing it out. But what we are really looking for is a life in which we can explore our lives from a more wholeness place. It's got a little bent, but so if you take this little, well, I can't do it that way. You twist one end of it, you pull them together, and then you create what is known as a Mobius, what is it called? Mobius strip. Yeah. And what we realize is that when we begin to trace the outside, then it soon becomes the inside, and vice versa. That our opportunity in our spiritual practice in growing and learning how to be whole human beings is to recognize that there is no inner and outer, that the inner and outer are really work together. That what's going on in us is playing out outside of us, and what is happening outside of us is affecting our inner life, our inner journey. And so the things that I was showing you earlier, these things that we create in our own minds as separation, are really an illusion. We might think we can separate our backstage life from our own on-stage life, but really that never happens. Because everything that's going on in here is going to affect what's going on out there in some way. And what's going on out there has an effect on what's going on in here. And our spiritual life, our spiritual journey of becoming whole, of becoming conscious spiritual beings, is learning how to live on the Mobius strip, so to speak, going within, experiencing what's without, allowing and choosing consciously. Some of you are familiar with Dennis Merritt Jones, who is a CSO minister, and he used to do a column in Science of Mind magazine. I don't think he does anymore. But he said to live with integrity and wholeness is the practice of skillfully blending our spiritual beingness and our human doingness while never losing sight of either. To live with integrity and wholeness is skillfully blending our spiritual beingness, our true light, that which we know we are as divine creations, with our human doingness. Now, listen to the word skillful. Blending. Without losing sight of either. So it is about, and I love the line from your song, because I was reminded of a quote from the Gospel of Thomas. If you're familiar with the Gospel according to Thomas, it's really a recording of Jesus' sayings. It's not about his life like the other Gospels are. And this is what it says in the 22nd verse. Jesus saw babies nursing and said, "These nursing babies are like those who enter the kingdom." And the disciples said, "Then shall we enter the kingdom as babies?" And Jesus probably went, "Oh my God." Jesus said, "Jesus Christ, don't you hear me?" Anyway. And Jesus said, "When you make the two into one, and when you make the inner like the outer, and the outer the inner, then you shall enter the kingdom." What do we know is the kingdom? The kingdom, as we understand the kingdom, is the consciousness of oneness, the consciousness of unity, the consciousness of knowing who we are. And we enter that knowing, as Jesus said, when we make the outer like the inner, and the inner like the outer. Living in integrity, living in wholeness. But it doesn't happen just because we want it to happen. It asks us to be conscious and to really allow ourselves to delve into the shadow self, what we might call our darkness. Those parts of us that we would really rather not admit we have. I'm sorry, I just have to laugh at me talking about this when there are counselors and therapists in the room. I'm thinking, what do I know about this? But yeah, when we can investigate that and live from that and bring that into the light and bring it into our conscious being. You know? And that is part of our journey. Our journey as human beings, our journey as spiritual beings. You know, I like to think maybe that New Thought or our Science of Mind, our Centers for Spiritual Living teaching is a spiritual recovery teaching. It really is about that. But we cannot allow ourselves to get into this magical thinking that it's just going to happen. That if we pray hard enough, we do enough spiritual mind treatment, and believe me, I totally believe in the power of meditation, prayer, and spiritual mind treatment because it does begin to condition our minds. It brings us into a new energy, a new way of seeing, a new way of understanding, a new vibrational frequency. And it gives us a place, I believe, from which to feel empowered to go within. To to explore those things. Not to avoid it. It's easy to try to avoid it because it's less painful that way sometimes, but I'm finally getting it. that to really live a whole life, to live in wholeness, is about honoring that and revealing that and exploring that for ourselves, rather than letting it come out sideways. Because it will, and it does, express itself. Let's make it a conscious expression, not an unconscious expression. That's our spiritual journey, I believe. And our human journey. Back to integrity. Back to living. As Jesus said, I just love that. As Jesus said, these babies are the ones who enter the kingdom. Knowing who we are, living out loud, being consciously connected. That's living in the kingdom. And that's living from the kingdom. And isn't that what we want? Isn't that what we really want? And you know what I believe too? We started with a vision of this place being filled. I think it'd be great though, people, you go out in the world and you're living this whole life. You're living out loud, and people are going to say, what do you have? I want some of that. Where did you find that? And you'll say, hey, I found it in New Thought. I found it at C.S.L. Barker. You want to come and join me? What do you think? Think it's possible? All right, so let's take a moment, take a breath. Allow ourselves to be present right here, right now. I invite you to breathe into that place in the depth of your being, the center of your wholeness. And connect, if you can, if you will, with that beautiful expression of the divine that you always have been and always will be. Maybe you have put in the shadows somehow. That one that is here to express, to live out loud, to be the light of the world, to shine that light, and allow that one to reveal itself to you in this moment. However it shows up for you. Allow yourself to be present with that aspect of who you are. And allow yourself to be the voice of love and compassion and understanding for that aspect of self that you may have put in the shadows somehow. You may have asked to stay backstage while you live your onstage life. And allow that self to come out to play. Breathe that self into your heart, to surround that self with love and light, to be the very presence of that which is the I am as you. And just feel the energy of that self. What did that self come to express? To live, to show, to know, to shine. Just allow it to be there with you, for you in this moment. Bringing it out of the shadows a bit. Bringing it into the light of your own heart. just invite you to be with that for a moment, however that just shows up for you. You no longer need to hide. You're loved, you're accepted, you're beautiful, just the way you are, right here and right now. As we integrate, as we bring ourselves back into the awareness of our wholeness, our unadulterated self, the integrity of beingness and doingness, we claim it. And we're strengthened in the awareness of our wholeness and our willingness to investigate, to go into that place that we sometimes think of as the darkness. Knowing that we live, knowing that we are here to make the inner like the outer and the outer the inner. To enter the kingdom and to live from the kingdom. And so in this moment, we claim it. We allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is.
Change my life to thy life. Change my life to thy life. Change my life to thy life. Change my life to love. Change my life to love. Change my life to love.
So now is the time in our service where we have the opportunity to share from our financial good to bless this ministry here at CSL Parker. I know many of you share electronically, and we're very grateful for that, and have set up recurring donations, and very grateful for all the ways that you support this community. So I invite you to take what you're going to share or what you have shared and hold it in your hand, hold it in your hands, hold it in your heart, and know that you are a blessing. That you allow this financial gift to flow through you. You are blessed in the giving, blessed in the receiving, and so it is.
Yes. 1, 2, 2.
It's up to me, the world I see. Will I choose a health and wealth or in poverty? It's up to me what my life will be. Will I choose a joy or pain, sunshine or rain? It's all up to me.
Thank you, appreciate that. I love your energy.
Love you.
Love your energy. So join me as we bless and give thanks for these offerings today, as you breathe into your own awareness that you are the eternal flow of the divine. That divine flows through you in many ways, in your financial good, in every aspect of your being. Know that you are the embodiments of abundance. And as you allow it to flow, it blesses the world. And we are so grateful for these gifts this morning. And we know that they come from love and they're shared in love. And so it is. So it is. So, thank you again for being here this morning. Please stick around and share some food. Looks like we've got lots of good food over there. And again, if you would like to have prayer, mind treatment, we have several practitioners here today, and they would be honored to be with you in prayer. Thank you again. Have a beautiful day. Know that you are loved. Know that you are blessed. As you move into this day, into this week, you take with you the awareness that you live in this constant stream as you make the inner and the outer one, choosing to live in the kingdom, the awareness of your unity and oneness, in your humanity, in your divinity as one. Know that you are love, and so it is. Amen.
Y'all know this one. Love is but a song we sing. There's a way we die. You can make the mountains ring or make the angels cry. No, the bird is on the wing, and you need not know why. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on again. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. If you hear the song, if you hear the song I sing, you will understand. Listen, you hold the key. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key, just one key unlocks them both. It's there at your command. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Right now, right now. Get together, y'all. Have a beautiful Sunday.